The Pats survived by the skin of their teeth at Gillette today, beating the Falcons 24-23, thanks to a missed extra point from old friend Parker Romo. It's a live postgame show. This is Locked On Patriots.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's happening? I'm your host, Nick Cattles, born and raised in New England. I've been covering the Pats for the past 16 years, also the co-host of the Greg Bedard Patriots podcast with Nick Cattles and a sports talk show host veteran. On today's live postgame, the defense had a pretty chaotic day and have one major issue that needs to be addressed. Also, the offense came in like a lion, but went out like a lamb. We'll discuss a Jekyll Hyde day for Drake Maye. But first, we talk survival. We appreciate you joining the show, making us your first listen, and for being an everydayer. The Locked On Patriots podcast is a proud partner of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And before we go on, don't forget, as you watch us on YouTube, to press that thumbs up. Give us that thumbs up. Give us that like. It helps us with the algorithm, so don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. How do you feel about this game? The Patriots survive against the Falcons. You feeling good? You feeling not so good? Don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. And don't forget to subscribe as we push towards 7,500 subs. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Not every game is going to be Picasso. We have to understand that the NFL, you're really full of ups and downs throughout a season, unless you are a team that is just so above everybody else that you can kind of coast your way to 13, 14 wins. We haven't seen that since the Tom Brady Patriots years ago. I mean, look at today where the Green Bay Packers lose a home game to the Carolina Panthers. Not every single game is going to be a thing of beauty. You're going to fall on your face every once in a while. How do you get up? How do you respond? This game was certainly not a Picasso. Drake Maye isn't always going to be great. I know we almost take it for granted because he's been so good for the past 6 or 7 weeks, but he's not going to be that guy every single week. He might end up being that guy every single week a year from now, 2 years from now, but that's why we always talk about development and how somebody improves within the game and how it's not always a straight line. That, yes, you can have a string of great games, and then you have a game where you kind of fall back to normalcy. I wouldn't say you fall off a cliff. I don't think Drake Maye fell off a cliff today because in the first half until the end of that half, he was really good. The offense was moving. But Drake Maye isn't always going to be great. He's going to have a game like today where he makes a couple of mistakes. He turns the football over a couple of times. And during the preview show, as we got you ready for this game today, we talked about how it was going to be a game of identity. And the Patriots, to me, through the first 29 minutes of this football game, they had their identity, effort, and finish. And they were this close, index finger separated from the thumb by all of 2 centimeters right now. If you're watching the video, they were this close to stepping on the throat of the Atlanta Falcons at the end of that first half. If you score at the end of that first half, you come back and you score again at the beginning of the third quarter, you do the old double score. I think Atlanta runs away. I think Atlanta has no life. They have no hope, and they run away from the football game. But that's not what happened because you did not finish the first half. Drake Maye, after Mike Onwenu loses his block on a game, and we'll talk about that a little bit later because it happened more than once, but Mike Onwenu loses. It is a quick pressure on Drake Maye. And Drake Maye does not tuck the football away. He doesn't put 2 hands on it. He doesn't hold it and just go down. He kind of leaves it out there with one hand. He gets strip sacked. It gets returned inside of the red zone. And then the Falcons cap it off with a touchdown right before the half. That is a huge swing of momentum as the Patriots were moving the ball down the field. So at the end of the first half, you failed to finish with that fumble. You gift wrap points to the Falcons. Then you get to the second half. First possession offensively. You have a first and goal. You're inside the 10-yard line. You've had a really good drive. You've marched it down. You're in position to score a touchdown. and respond right back to that end of the first half and go up by a couple of scores, go up by 2 touchdowns, and you just don't finish that drive. Again, you fail to finish. You get a field goal out of that drive, which isn't good enough. Then the second possession of the second half, you have great field position. You're starting at your own 48-yard line. You're almost right there at the 50. Drake Maye ends up throwing an interception. There was a miscommunication seemingly between Drake Maye and Hunter Henry. Drake sails the throw, ends up being a pick, and you get nothing out of fantastic field position. So the failure to finish from the end of the first half through until that final play to Hunter Henry, that's what killed you in this game. And you had a lot of opportunities. Again, you won the game and you survived, which is all that matters at the end of the day. But you had so many opportunities in this game to put the Falcons away. Christian Gonzalez has a golden opportunity. Drake London falls. The throw is right to Christian Gonzalez, goes right through his hands, drops an interception. That drive ends up being an Atlanta Falcons touchdown with a crazy Drake London one-handed catch, which we saw way too many times for my liking today. That dude was unbelievable today. And you were -2 on the turnovers. You let Atlanta hang around. You're fortunate that you walk away with the dub, which is the most important thing, but you let the Falcons hang around. The Falcons are not as good as you. The Falcons were ready to roll over and die at halftime, but you let them hang around. Now let's get to the play call on 3rd and 5. I had posted at Nick C Radio on Twitter when the Patriots got that final possession. I wondered what Josh McDaniels would do. Atlanta had a waste of timeout earlier, which was just a really rough look for the coaching staff, especially the offensive coaching staff for them. So they blow one of their 3 timeouts. So they only have 2 timeouts. So you know that you're going to have to come up with a play here. If you run on the first 2 downs, which I expected the Patriots to do, to force Atlanta to use their timeouts, then what would you do on 3rd down? Would Drake Maye be trusted? Because, again, he wasn't great beginning at the end of that first half through really the rest of the game. He wasn't that great. So you saw earlier in the fourth quarter a swing pass on a 3rd and medium, which to me told me Josh McDaniels in that moment was not necessarily trusting his quarterback. And so how would they handle the end of the game situation? And Josh McDaniels dials it up, a fantastic play call, cojones on 3rd and 5 to throw the ball. Atlanta has no timeouts left. You can easily run it, use the clock, call a timeout, and try to punt and pin them, but you go for the kill. And I love that. And we talked about it with Mike Vrabel, last week, how he's been consistently aggressive. And that is the aggressive play call once again. 3rd and 5, they don't run it. They decide to throw it. It is a pick play involving Hunter Henry and Matt Collins. We talked about on the preview show attacking J.D. Bertrand in coverage. He is a weak spot since Divine Diablo left the Falcons a few weeks ago with a broken forearm. On that 3rd down and 5, they target J.D. Bertrand. They go to Hunter Henry, Captain Dependable. They run that pick play with Matt Collins. Excellent execution. You trusted your quarterback in that moment. Your quarterback came through. Mike Vrabel trusted Josh McDaniels to make that play call and go for the kill. So Mike Vrabel trusted the quarterback, and that trust was rewarded with that 3rd and 5 conversion, and you walk away with the W. It wasn't pretty, but I mean, being 7-2 on the way to Tampa next weekend, you have to be happy with where this football team is at. Not everything has been perfect. We don't expect perfection. Your quarterback was not as good today as he has been the prior several weeks, but you survived. You survived. You got a win at home. You have now won 6 straight games, and you are 7-2 getting ready to head to Tampa. Big picture, you have to be thrilled with that if you're Mike Vrabel as you get ready for the trading deadline on Tuesday. All right, it wasn't the prettiest day for Drake Maye, but the Pats offense did just enough. We'll talk about that coming up next. This is Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's show is brought to you by our friends over there at Peloton. Look, folks, it's time to break through the busiest time of the year with a brand new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus that's powered by Peloton IQ. It's Peloton's most elevated technology and equipment yet that gives you real-time guidance, and it gives you endless ways to move, whether you want to work out by yourself or if you want to work out with your favorite instructor, like my personal favorite, Alex Toussaint. He always gets me fired up to tackle the day. And the thing I like about Peloton, it helps me achieve more in less times. They have features that help you plan, stay motivated, track your progress, and Peloton IQ also provides personalized workout plans and recommendations. That's something that I use right now during the busiest time of the year covering the NFL. They plan my workouts for me based on my mood, my vibe, and also my favorite instructors. So make sure you check it out and use it because it also helps you correct your form in real time, and it maximizes your reps. It counts your reps so that you can do it smarter, safer, and more efficient. Let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. Need parts fast for a project? Supply House has next-day delivery. Talk about a game changer, and their Trade Master perks like priority shipping and dedicated support make the whole process smoother. Join the free Trade Master program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHNFL5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as you watch us here. If you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate every single one of you. Help a brother out, help a podcast out, help a community out. Again, like, comment, and sub. The first 29 minutes of this game, the Patriots were in complete control. They dominated the first 29 minutes of this game. This game was on the precipice of being a laugher. We were on the precipice of watching a blowout, and it's crazy. It's crazy when you give a team life. All you got to do is just give the team a little bit of life, and it can become a completely different football game. And that's what happened. That's what happened on this Sunday, because the first 29 minutes, your quarterback was in complete control. Your offense made it look easy. You were absolutely eviscerating the Falcons defense. Drake Maye was dominant. We talked about the Atlanta pass defense. We talked about their pass rush, some of the games that they play up front, how they were giving up less than 150 passing yards per game. They didn't give up a lot of explosive plays. We talked all about it, getting you ready for this football game. And in the first 29 minutes, the Patriots made that Falcons defense look sketchy, looked questionable. They were marching down the field. No big deal. Drake Maye had a couple of touchdowns. Terrell Jennings had a touchdown run. The vibes were fantastic at Gillette Stadium. You were getting chunk plays downfield from Drake in the offense. A beautiful throw from Drake Maye to Pop Douglas on the first touchdown. Fantastic, by the way. Fantastic designed play by Josh McDaniels to get Pop Douglas in the backfield, put TreVeyon Henderson in the slot, line up Jack Westover outside towards the boundary. You got the one-on-one between Pop Douglas and Jalen Walker. Jalen Walker had no chance on God's green earth stopping that play. And this looked like it was going to be an easy breezy 60 minutes. I talked about it on the preview show, talked about it last week. The Patriots had not played a game of really a full 60 minutes. They had not played a complimentary football game for a full 60 minutes. They always have these stretches during games. And I would have loved to see a full 60-minute game today where you just went out, you got off to that fast start, 3 and out to start the game defensively, and it was like you could go on cruise control if you could have just finished the first half. But again, the final minute of the first half was a huge swing, and I thought Drake Maye was a different quarterback. He was a different quarterback in the first 29 minutes than he was in the final 31 minutes of this game. After that fumble, after the play at the end of the first half, I thought Drake Maye looked a little jittery at times. I thought he looked unsure of himself in the pocket at times. And this was a game where he has really been able to not lose his accuracy, from series to series. He's been able to find himself. Every once in a while, he'll sail a pass. Every once in a while, he'll throw it behind somebody. And I thought today you had longer stretches of inaccuracy from Drake Maye in the pocket. So I thought after that fumble, he was a completely different looking quarterback. A little bit jittery, inaccurate. You had multiple miscommunications. Seemingly, you had a miscommunication between Maye and Hunter Henry, which led to an interception. You had a miscommunication between Maye and it looked like Kyle Williams, where I think Drake was expecting Kyle Williams to kind of sit on the route, and Kyle ran an in-breaker. Kyle Williams ran that in-breaker route, and so Drake threw it to really nobody behind the rookie receiver. So there were multiple miscommunications. There was inaccuracy. There was a jitteriness to his pocket play. But I will also say this. We've seen this all year long, and again, it happened today. Drake Maye has been mostly nails on third down. And multiple times today, again, he comes up with big plays on third down to extend drives. And we can't overlook that. So as much as the final 31 minutes of this game, they were pretty rough. It was very up and down, choppy for Drake. I still think you look at that first half. I still think you look at some of the plays he made even in the second half, and you walk away and you say this is part of the learning experience. Fortunately for the Patriots, Drake Maye and company, his teammates, they can learn from this game. And fortunately, they won the game. It's always easier to learn from a game that you win than a game that you lose because you feel a little bit better that you survived it. So I thought Drake Maye, up and down today, different guy the final 31 minutes than the first 29 minutes. He did come through on that 3rd and 5, convert the pass, nice play call by Josh McDaniels, and you win the game. Mike Onwenu was terrible. Mike Onwenu was terrible in pass protection. And we talked about getting ready for this game, about how the Atlanta Falcons like to play games. They'll throw all sorts of exotic blitzes at you. They will run twists and stunts. And we saw Mike Onwenu not once but twice single-handedly kill the momentum by missing a game up front. Mike Onwenu not once but twice got beat by stunts. And yes, Drake Maye has to hold on to the football. He's got to have both hands on the ball when the pass rush is coming at him. It was carelessness on his part, but he was put in that position because Mike Onwenu failed. Period. End of sentence. And Mike Onwenu failed again in the second half. I believe it was that second possession. It was either the second possession or the first possession of the second half when Onwenu again, he gets beat by a game. And so the end of the first half, he gets beat, leads to a fumble, leads to that gigantic momentum swing. And then you come out in the third quarter, and it was that first possession of the third quarter when the Patriots are set up, 1st and goal, you're inside the 10, you have a chance to punch Atlanta right back in the face after the bad end of the half, and Mike Onwenu gets beat again on a game by Luke Ororororo. However you say that last name, Ororororo. And so, it's final drive of the first half, Mike Onwenu kills you. First drive of the second half, Mike Onwenu kills you in 2 gigantic spots. You just can't have it from a veteran. You can't have it from a guy who was supposed to be one of your best offensive linemen. He was terrible in pass protection. Terrible in pass protection. Absolutely brutal. And I thought the pass protection overall was somewhat inconsistent, but not terrible. Onwenu was bad. Morgan Moses got beat badly at one point. I think Garrett Bradbury got beat badly at one point. Some of the sacks, I got to do the rewatch. So I'll rewatch the game tomorrow morning, and that'll give me a better idea as to what was actually open and not open, and did Drake have a play, et cetera, et cetera. But from the initial view, I thought you also had a number of plays where the offensive line held up. They provided great pockets for Drake to step into, and you had some big plays because the protection was really good. But you just it felt like a handful, like 5 or 6 breakdowns by the offensive line that really hurt you. 2 or 3 by Mike Onwenu, 1 by Morgan Moses, 1 by Garrett Bradbury. It felt, again, I'm not going to sit here and put the stamp of approval on it, but it did feel like Will Campbell was okay today. It didn't feel like he was bad. It didn't feel like Jared Wilson was bad. So, again, I'll see on the rewatch. But I would say it was inconsistent. About 5 or 6 times you had some breakdowns that really hurt you. But you also had a couple of pockets that were fantastic that allowed Drake to get the ball down the field and opened up the offense a little bit and provided you an opportunity to get some points. The run game I thought was good. 25 carries, 90 yards. You're not going to go bananas over that. But I thought they had several positive runs. Without Ramondre Stevenson, it was TreVeyon Henderson and Terrell Jennings who pretty much split 50-50. And, I thought both guys had their moments. Pop Douglas was terrific. 4 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown. Another big play downfield by Pop. Stephon Diggs had a very nice touchdown. It was really all yards after the catch. Tremendous individual effort from Diggs on his touchdown. And now we move forward with Kayshon Boutte, who left this game, which absolutely hurt the offense. I mean, 2 of your best, most consistent players were not playing, right? I mean, you didn't have Ramondre Stevenson to start the game. Then you lose Kayshon Boutte in the second quarter. You've got to try to find a way to adjust. And now we've got to see. It's a hamstring with Kayshon Boutte. Does that force the Patriots to have a little bit more urgency at the wide receiver position as we get ready for the trade deadline? Could they pick up the phone now and place a call and talk to the Raiders about Jakobi Meyers? Maybe they weren't looking to do that, but if Kayshon Boutte is going to be out for any extended period of time, it's not the worst idea in the world to go find an experienced guy who has played in this offense. So we'll see if that injury creates a situation where the Patriots get a little bit more aggressive before the deadline to add a receiver, even though they did not, I don't think, expect that to be happening. All right, the defense had a chaotic day at Gillette, and there's one pressing issue heading into Tampa next weekend. That's next as we continue with today's episode of Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. You always have a shot to enjoy the game and the action. It is awesome. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. I love same-game parlays. If had my share of wins using that SGP icon on game days. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. I'll say it again. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Help us out here at Locked On Patriots. We continue to build momentum as a show. We are making some noise in the Locked On community thanks to all of you. So let's keep on pushing. Appreciate every single one of you. Defensively, there were a combination of things at work today. I have a tough time blistering the defense, frankly. There were great individual plays by the Falcons' skill players. Their dudes were dudes, especially in the second half, especially late in this game. Bijan Robinson had 2 one-handed catches, which were just kind of outrageous. Drake London was a highlight reel waiting to happen this entire day. I mean, he mossed Marcus Jones in the end zone for the first touchdown. The other touchdown that he had late in this game against Carlton Davis, that one-handed catch where he leaps, he keeps both feet in bounds, he keeps control of the football. He quote unquote survives the catch. Some of that is just great offensive player doing great offensive things. Like I have trouble killing Carlton Davis on that coverage when he's there, and it's just a spectacular individual effort, right? Like let's put the shoe on the other foot. If Kayshon Boutte makes a catch like Drake London made, I don't think Patriots fans are saying, well, the defense gave up that play. I think we'd all be sitting here saying, man, what a freaking play by Kayshon Boutte. And so there was just some individual great plays from the Atlanta Falcons' best players, namely Bijan Robinson and Drake London. The one-handed catches are absurd. Not much you can do about that. However, we can point to the low red zone issues for this Patriots defense. When you're passing off Christian Gonzalez is passing off to Marcus Jones in man coverage in the low red zone, and that leaves Drake London one-on-one against Marcus Jones. It leads you to getting mossed. And so I think you try to stick to the man coverage and you stick Christian Gonzalez on Drake London, and whatever happens, happens. So that's something that you want to correct, and it did look like in the second half the Patriots did correct that approach, which is good to see. The adjustment was made. Then the second touchdown for Drake London was off motion. It looked like Marcus Jones got into some traffic in the end zone, and Drake London came free, gets the touchdown catch. And then, the one-handed catch against Carlton Davis is just a great play by the receiver. I mean, you can't do much more on that play. And I don't think Marcus Jones could do much more on the first touchdown. It's just Drake London is so much bigger than Marcus Jones. And if there's, one thing we talk about with Marcus, who's been fantastic this year and deserved every single dollar on that extension last week, if there's one thing, it's Marcus Jones's size. He can't grow anymore. He is what he is. And so if he gets matched up against a bigger receiver, sometimes he's just going to get out physical. Sometimes the guy's just going to jump up and at the catch point make the play. And so there's not much you can do. The play down the field, Christian Gonzalez and Drake London, again, one-on-one coverage. That is great coverage by Christian Gonzalez. I thought the flag thrown was a little ticky-tack. But, the coverage, Drake London, again, he high points it, and he kind of wrestles it away from Gonzalez as they're heading towards the ground. You can't cover any better on that play. So there was some individual special from the Falcons. But there were also some missed opportunities from the Patriots defense. Gonzalez had a chance on the pick. Goes right through his hands. You've got to catch that football. That's probably a pick six. And he doesn't make the catch. So a missed opportunity there. You had the Jalen Hawkins, Carlton Davis in the end zone play where Michael Penix just threw it up for grabs into double coverage trying to get it to London. And Carlton Davis is sitting there. He's ready for a pick. And Jalen Hawkins comes screeching over and breaks it up. And he actually knocks it out of the hands of Carlton Davis, who was set to have that pick. So that was a missed opportunity. You had two shots on fourth down to get him off the field late in the game. You failed both times. So there was a mix. There was a mix of individual great play from some of the best players for Atlanta, and there was also some of the things that you could have done better. But the biggest issue for this defense today, I thought, was they could not get any pressure with four-man fronts. If they weren't blitzing, for the most part, they weren't getting pressure. They could not get to Michael Penix consistently. And we talked about how bad Penix is against pressure. And to credit Michael Penix, I thought he made a couple of throws under pressure that were good today. But the Patriots, their four-man pass rush could not consistently get pressure on Michael Penix. And that is an issue. Because now you're playing games between blitzing and your coverage and what are you going to do? And we've heard the Patriots are trying to acquire an edge rusher before this trading deadline or by the trading deadline on Tuesday. And if you're watching the film, you're watching this game, I think you've got to have all the urgency in the world to go out there and get somebody. I've been pumping the tires of Alex Wright of the Cleveland Browns, who we saw last week. He reportedly is available for a fifth-round pick. I know Jalen Phillips has been brought up. Miami wants a third-round pick. Is Miami willing to trade Jalen Phillips to a division rival? I'm not sure. But you have to. If you can acquire a defensive end that can get some pressure, you've got to do it. Add that guy to the rotation of Harold Landry and Kayvon Chason, because the four-man rush just is not consistently getting pressure. If you can pull off a trade, pull off a trade. The run defense, meanwhile, was terrific again. Every single week. It is what it is. Bijan Robinson had 46 yards on 12 carries. Again, the Patriots do not give up a 50-yard rushing game to a running back. They haven't done it yet this season. You hold Bijan Robinson to under 4 yards a carry, you're doing your job. Atlanta was 1 for 10 on third downs, so really good third down defense by the Patriots. And if you look at this game from 30,000 feet, without the fumble at the end of the half, which set up Atlanta on a very short field, you're likely giving up 17 points today as a defense. So again, you would have done your job by keeping the team to 20 points or less. The end of the half fumble really hurt you. I thought Christian Gonzalez was pretty darn good today. And in the post game, we found out he spoke to the media. He said he could have gone back out there, so it looks like he dodged a concussion, which is huge news. And the other part is the Patriots only had 2 penalties called on them today. So a much, much better from the discipline point of view here for this football game. So I thought it was a little bit of a mixed bag for the Pats defense, but all in all, it wasn't terrible. They just have to get a pass rush. They have to try to find a way to get a pass rush with their four guys up front. And if you can add somebody to give juice, you do it. All right, that wraps up this edition of Locked On Patriots. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for making us your first listen and for being an everydayer. You can reach out to me on Twitter at NickCRadio. For your second listen, get a double dose of the Locked On NFL podcast with Tyler the Madman Rowland and Tony Wiggins. Find Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and we will see you next time.